Now, pesto is one of those reasonably easy sauces to make for pasta, for other things, but generally you use a food processor or a blender. Well, I'm gonna show you a more rustic, easy, I call it a weeknight pesto, because you're not gonna have to pull out a lot of machinery in order to make it if you're just throwing together a quick pasta dinner. And we're gonna start with 2 cups of fresh basil leaves here. You can see I've just pulled these off the plant, and all we're gonna do is go to town on this, chopping them. We're gonna chop them as small and as fine as we can, but you don't have to obsess over it. If there's a few bigger pieces, it's not gonna hurt anything. Just keep chopping and scraping back into a pile. That will do nicely. Let's move on to the next ingredient. Now, one of the reasons you use a food processor or a blender to make pesto is because you can really break down the nuts. There's other ways to do that. If you just take a Ziploc bag, put the nuts in there and use a rolling pin to roll over them, that'll break them down just fine. Just keep going back and forth on it. Or like me, you can use a mortar and pestle. This is a really easy way to do it. The other thing is traditionally, pesto is made with pine nuts or something very similar. A lot of times it's made with walnuts. You can make it with just about any nuts you want. I'm gonna be using some slivered almonds today, and I have 1/3 cup of these slivered almonds. And I'm just gonna break these down. Anybody that jumps out gets to go right back in. And you can break them down as small or as large as you want. That looks good to me. Let's start assembling our pesto. So I have a bowl here with our chopped up basil in it, and we're gonna add our crushed almonds. We're also gonna add 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of coarsely ground black pepper. Now I'm gonna mix this together before we start adding our olive oil. Now I'm gonna add my olive oil a little at a time. It can take up to 1/2 cup, sometimes a little bit more. It's really to get it to the consistency that you like. So I'm gonna start by adding about 1/4 cup to begin. And we'll mix that in. And again, this is gonna be a rustic pesto, not a creamy blended pesto. Add some more olive oil here. Almost another 1/4 cup. That is getting to the consistency that I like. Let's get a quick taste, see if we need to adjust for salt or pepper. Ooh, no, that is spot on. That's what I want. All right, let's try this on some pasta. So I have some freshly cooked penne pasta here, and I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of our pesto to this and mix it up, and we'll top it with some more when we plate it. I just like to get a coating on everybody. Let everybody get a nice little bit of this pesto on them first. You like how I refer to the pasta as everybody? It's my good friend, Mr. Pasta. That sounds a little strange, but you can see we've got a little bit on all our pieces here. Now let's go ahead and plate this up and top it with some more pesto. This pesto is also really good on pieces of toasted bread, crostini, seafood, great on shrimp and salmon. I'm not saying you should eat it like soup though. Might be a little too rich. And then some nice dollops on the top right here. And there we have it. Easy, rustic pesto. No machinery required, on top of some great penne pasta. Well, let's have a taste. Got a couple pieces here with some of that great pesto. Cheers. What I really love about pesto, and especially in this rustic version, is the nuts. They actually have a texture that's not completely blended down to just mush. Everything else combined in here, the basil, the Parmesan, the garlic, everything goes well in this rustic sort of preparation. And it takes 10 minutes or less to prepare with no cleanup of your blender, your food processor. You just get to enjoy it.